Hey everyone, this is the Coffee with the Geek program. This is the September 2015 issue. Today I have Kristina Holzweiss, and I hope I pronounced that okay,
Yeah,
Kristina.
yes.
And Kristina is a school library media specialist at Bayshore Middle School. She's also in her kind of outside school time. She's a presenter, author, and a professional developer. Her background is she earned her MA in English from SUNY Queens College. That's a New York institution. Her MLS from Long Island University, and her advanced certificate in educational technology from SUNY Stony Brook. So a lot of good educational background, educational history
Yes, I
background.
like to learn.
Yes.
Be a real
And
student.
and in her school time, she has created the Genius Hour program, and I'm going to ask you about that in a little bit, and also organized Slime, Students Long Island Maker Expo. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
Hmm.
In 2015, you were named the School Librarian of the Year by the School Library Journal and Scholastic, and you've just received an award from NYSCATE, which is our ISTE affiliate here in New York, and the Long Island Technology Summit. So you also are using Voxer to moderate a group for educators, and I'm just part of a Voxer education group myself, and I'm finding it's a really great tool, and we can maybe talk about that as well. The only problem with Voxer, I'll tell you, somehow my Voxer went off. It was kind of like I must have hit the button or something. So,
Oh,
so,
did you
so
butt
the
box?
educator, yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's
that
exactly
happens
what
quite
my
often, like
colleague said.
heavy breathing.
Oh yes. Oh gosh, it was so embarrassing. I was like, oh no, what was I talking about? Who was I talking to? So all those panic. It was a panic moment for sure.
That's when the pro account comes in handy, so you can recall those butt boxes.
Oh, pro account. Okay,
Pro account.
know that. So your Voxer group talks about bringing maker spaces and the Genius Hour into the library. So it's a great sharing tool for you. And you've got a really interesting website called bunheadwithducttape.com. Can't get more creative than that. So, and just personally, you're married and you have a supportive husband named Mike, and
All right.
three beautiful children, Tyler 6.5, Riley, and Lexi. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you like to travel and go camping. So you know how to power down as well, which is
Yes.
and last but not least, to just get in touch with you, it's Librarian, your Twitter handle. Again, the website is Bunhead with Duct Tape, and your favorite Edtech tools, which again are some that I haven't used a lot, which I'd like to learn more. So you've given me a little motivation to do that. One is Bunsey, which I haven't used a lot. I do have an account. TAC, which I really like, but I
Yeah.
haven't tapped into the power of that yet. Flipgrid. Again, I've seen it, I've dabbled, but I haven't really gotten into it. Blend Space, I have. Glogster, yes, and Edmodo is definitely a
Yeah.
good staple for education. So, with all of that, let me get to our first question, which is, I really came to know your work through Twitter. Actually, I think I came across you on a Twitter feed and clicked the buttons and saw your website. Can you tell me your thoughts on how your creative website came to be and why the name?
Well, actually, I really try to do a lot of things in my library that are on the cheap because I use most of my budget for books, and so I try to write grants and things like that. And a lot of things are out of my pocket. So sometimes, duct tape works very well to patch up things and fix things. And I go shopping at the dollar store and IKEA and the bargain rack and Target. So that's why I came up with basically Bunhead, which is breaking the old stereotype of librarians, and duct tape, which is, I think, the universal tool that everyone can use. And especially now with the maker movement, I think duct tape is the be all and end all. You can use it for arts and crafts and the cardboard challenge and just putting things together at the last minute. So that's where I came from, Bunhead with duct tape.
That a follow-up to that is the notion of bunhead, or maybe the stereotypical version of librarians. And I found through kind of my interactions with school is that really librarians are leading the charge for a lot of change, I think. especially their role and libraries' role. Can you talk about that change and maybe talk about libraries' change and maybe the positives and the negatives of the change that are happening with libraries and librarians?
Well, the stereotype is, it's been happening for years. We have ebooks, we have TV, we have, internet. Why do we need librarians? Well, it's like going on vacation. Why do you need a tour guide? Because that person can show you the ins and outs of things that maybe you wouldn't have normally known. So yes, it's very important right now, even more so because there is so much information out there that my kids, go into Google, and again, great tool, but they don't know how to use it effectively. So they type in whatever keyword they want, and they go to the first link at the top of Google. It's not always the right link for them. Or they don't know how to search well, and they're searching for information maybe about Abraham Lincoln. And they'll type in, when was Abraham Lincoln born in such and such an era? And they write too much. So they really don't know how to navigate. So I think even more so than ever, with the influx and the overload of information, librarians are that much even more important. Especially now with the Common Core standards, with the stress on research and analyzing information and applying information, I think that has made the role of librarian even more important than ever. So it's several different reasons. And like the irony is that you would think with more technology, we'd be needed less. We're actually needed even more than ever.
Well, and I think your role has changed from, finding books to actually finding resources, which is still just as valuable. With that in mind, do you think books, libraries themselves, and I've asked a lot of teachers questions like this: is school going to change? I mean, we have the technology to make classrooms look different, and yet they still, in many cases, stay the same. Because I think that's our comfort zone with schools, and everybody went to school, and that's what schools look like. That's what they're supposed to look like. Do you find that
rows and everyone, we're our own numbers.
Do you find that the change for libraries and what they look like, certainly now we have digital content compared to hardbound books, do you see the change coming? Are most of your librarian friends and media specialist friends resistant to that change? Where do you see libraries, I guess, not only school libraries, but public libraries in the future?
Well, the big change that people who are not in the library community would not really know is the ditching Dewey, where they're taking away the Dewey numbers and the Dewey letters. They're still using the hardbound books, but they're rearranging it. Now, I will not ditch Dewey from my nonfiction. That would take me forever. And I don't want to I don't want to try to fix what's fine.
Right.
But I do have my, I do have my fiction set up, my novels set up according to genre. So instead of going into the whole library looking from A to Z, I'll have them set up horror, historical fiction. So I will have them set up like a bookstore. And that's the newest trend actually in libraries right now, is user-friendly, student-friendly. So I think that runs the gamut of digital, print, whether it's makerspace, whether it's flexible seating, whether it's classroom technology. I think it runs the gamut. We're trying to do anything we can to make things user-friendly. If it's not user-friendly and the kids can't navigate their way through the library or through the internet or using our maker tools, then what's the point? It's to make them independent learners and to help them along the way and trying to give them an environment where they can do that and become independent. And so I think that covers almost everything out there, that we're just trying to arrange resources and choose resources. And I think furniture, again, the environment itself is changing. We always have our patron, if you're a public library, or our students, a school library, in mind, whatever that is. And I think as long as we have that in our mind, we're doing the right thing. And my library could be different from someone else's library. It depends on the makeup of the students, the population, the budget that you have. Every library, I think, really is a reflection of the librarian who's in it. what they choose to put in, how they choose to arrange it. So I think individualization, customization, I think that's the biggest trend. And again, it supersedes technology. It supersedes print resources. What's best for students? Road.
Yeah, I think that's a powerful and I hadn't thought of it. I hadn't framed it quite that way. And the idea that you mentioned, it's really about empowerment. And libraries have always been about empowering people. They were just books from newspapers. They were about giving the public at large, ways to empower themselves in their minds. So if you think of it like that, really, whatever librarians use, the tools they use are with that goal in mind even today, no matter how much libraries change. So I think it's a really powerful point.
Right, and the library is for everyone. I mean, when there's a disaster that's going on, if there's a tornado, we had hurricanes here, people didn't have internet on Long Island. We didn't have some power. People went to the local library. They also went to the local Starbucks, but they also went to the public library, and that was the place to be. So I think that library as a community is important. And you were talking before about librarians choosing, books. Putting the right book in the hands of a student will never change. When you see when a student comes back and says, that was a good book, I really connected with that, it doesn't matter whether it's print or digital. It's a connection that you make with the student and that the student makes with the work. There's a famous short story called The Fun They Had. I don't know if you've read that story, but it talks about, it's a very short story, and it's about, it's a science fiction story where the kids discover a book. And because their teachers are robots, and they just put it in the homework in the little slot, and it's graded. And they talk about the fun that people in the past had when they learned from people and when they actually had books. So it's a real take on how the future is not, the technology is not always the best thing. It's the person making the connection. It's the librarian and the teacher, and even administrators making connections with students. That's what changes things.
That's a great way to put it. So speaking of kind of empowerment, what are your thoughts about the power of Twitter and other social networks? Like I said, that's where I came across your work, Twitter. So what do you think of Twitter and its potential as a learning tool?
I am amazed. I've been teaching for about 20 years now, and I remember just trying to connect with people in my own school and connect with other people all over. And when I went to conferences and actually could talk to people and speak to the book publishers, I thought it was the most awesome thing. And now with Twitter, I don't have to wait. I can get an instant message from someone. I can connect with someone who I'd never be able to meet before. Like, I met you. I don't think that would have happened. Our world is so small now that through Twitter and through Voxer, that we can just stand on the shoulders of giants, as they say. We can learn so much and cut so much of the time out of if you say to me, oh, I tried this tool and it didn't work for me, but this is how you can use it, then you've helped me save time and you've helped me help my kids. And if we get our kids to connect, that's why Edmodo, I think, is such a good thing. And even like Google Docs, where kids all around the world can connect. I remember being a kid and, you waited for your pen pal, you waited for the letter, which I still think, I love getting mail still, even if it's junk mail. I love still getting mail. It's a power of, it's having the book in your hand or having mail in your hand. But to connect people from all over the world is such a fascinating, awesome thing right now. And that's what really excites me about education right now.
Following up with Voxer, can you talk to people quickly about what Voxer is and what you can do with it and where you see it maybe going?
Well, when I started Voxer last year, it was a book club in my school. And at first I said, yeah, okay, so I leave a text message for someone or I leave a phone call for someone. I'm like, what's the point? But I didn't really get it until I joined a group. And in the group, we have a Genius Hour Makerspace group. And I could just take a picture of, like recently I took a picture of my awesome Lego wall and I put base plates on the back of a cabinet. I don't have a huge wall. So I put it on a cabinet and I just uploaded pictures. And within like 5 minutes, people in the group, oh, that's such a great idea. I didn't know about that. Someone else put up a picture about a 3D printed sunglasses that she made with a 3D pen. And so I was able to respond. But if I'm driving, I could plug it into the car and I can listen to it. So I don't always have to be bound by text. I like seeing the print because then if I see, I could instantly get some information. But so much nicer to hear someone's voice and you really feel like you're making that connection. So when actually I went to ISTE in June, I met some people through an ISTE Voxer group. And I was like, oh my God, these are friends. We've never met, but they're my friends now. It's my network. So Voxer is a really great thing, and I encourage anyone listening to join Voxer.
And for those of you who don't know, it's a free app. It's a free sign up. Use it, I think, really on your PC as well as your smartphone. But it works kind of like a walkie talkie. So you've got a little walkie talkie button. You press it, and you can leave a voice message for someone, or you can text somebody a message, or you can even leave a file if you want to. So pretty dynamic in that sense. So for book talks, you can either leave a voice message, you can leave a text message, you can really respond at any time. So I think it's powerful, especially for book type.
Yeah, it was really good. Our assistant principal started a book chat. We started with the 5-minute classroom. And then we progressed to Teach Like a Pirate, and we had a Twitter group, but we also started a Voxer group, and we started talking through Voxer as well. So sometimes Twitter can get a little hard to navigate because you see everyone's conversations, and I felt that the 14, I don't know, it's not 14 character, but I mean the small character setting. I as you can see now, I talk a lot, so I could not fit all I wanted in there. And Voxer you can. And also sometimes we found that people, they would see A1, Q1, and they were getting so confused. Voxer was our own little universe. So it's a nice little subcategory of Twitter.
I agree. On your website, I came across this quote. I think it's at the bottom of your start page, and it says, dedicated to the idea that students are children, not numbers, and that learning can be assessed in more meaningful ways than standardized testing. Can you just tell me about that quote and what it means to you?
Well, years ago when the Common Core came out, I actually started a website called Common Core Conversation, and that website had links to tools that I felt could be used in the classroom for the standards. And so I found that a lot of people are so concerned with the tests because in New York State, our teacher evaluations are reflected by the tests that our students take. And if a child doesn't do well, it's a reflection on us. And we know as educators, education is not just one place by one person at one time. It's your whole day, it's your whole life as education. So I truly believe that kids are not numbers, and each child has their own strengths and weaknesses, their own place of growth, and that we need to move from those bubble tests. No matter how difficult the questions are, they're still bubble tests, whether they're computerized or on paper. We have to move from that to portfolios, project-based learning, actual projects that you can see, rubrics, anecdotes. That is real learning. In the world, there are no bubble tests when we go to Wall Street. There are no bubble tests when you're a heart surgeon. There are actual practical situations, and that's what we need to prepare our kids for. We have to prepare them for the academia, but the hands-on learning that can be assessed through that, not just bubble tests.
That was powerful. You left me speechless. Tell us about the Genius Hour.
Well, I started a makerspace in my library, and I really didn't have much. I brought in some yogurt containers and old tissue paper I had from home, and I said to kids, make something, and they had no idea what I was talking about. So I brought some more things in, but I didn't have my own group of kids. That was something I missed. When I was an English teacher, I had my classes. I had 5 classes a day, 25 to 30 kids a class. They were mine for the year, and I could teach them and bring in anything I wanted to. But now I had no class. I had to talk to other teachers and see what they wanted to do. So I started Genius Hour, which was a 1 week long time where kids can come in and explore with robots. They can explore with coding, all those enrichment activities we consider enrichment or gifted and talented. This was for everyone. It was for ESL, special ed, our honors kids, the average kid, everyone. This young run expanded to 2 weeks because I feel like there's not enough time to grow. When kids want to make a green screen movie, a week is not enough to do it correctly with the storyboard, with presenting it, and making the mistakes along the way. A week is not enough time to make and learn and grow from mistakes. So now it's a 2 week thing. So I bring in things like robots. I have robots. I don't know if you can see that. That's one. That's Ollie. Sphero is the round one. I have MIP. Here's MIP. He's very cute. I have Dot and Dash at school. So I don't have a lot of one item. I buy one of these, one Dot and Dash, and so the kids can rotate and learn about the different kinds of robots. I feel like giving them more variety is better than giving them like 10 MIPs. So I give them a little bit of everything. Legos. Lego Education has a really nice set. Legos. I just have a box of them, and a really great. Our ESL teacher received a grant through Donors Choose, and she's using them to talk about stories with kids, beginning, middle, and end. And she noticed that when she came in with her kids, how they were using the tools and the hands-on learning to have conversations in English. So that really helped them, and they weren't being assessed or tested. That's not the point of it. It's just to learn. And so that grew into Slime. There's my Slime as a book. And here are just some pictures of Slime. Okay. And so this was for 32 different districts came. 400 people came last year.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yeah. So we had a Trash to Fashion show where the kids actually had to make something from Dorito bags or duct tape or what have you. We had robotics, and we even had people in the community come. So it was an extension of the Makerspace and the Genius Hour. So Makerspace in my library is more for kids who come during lunch or during the study hall. And then the Genius Hour is more structured. Teachers come in and they explore a topic. And then Slime is the big event at the end of the year.
It sounds like you've really created a space for creativity and innovation, and a really comfortable space for kids to explore and try new things.
I try to make it as what I wanted. When I was in middle school, I did not like going to the library. She was a bunhead. You know, she had the typical glasses, and I asked to borrow a pencil, and she was already yelling at you, and I don't want that. And so when I bring in toys to the library, it's stuff that I want to play with. Actually, yesterday I had some kids stay after school, and we were playing with our 3D pens and our Lego wall, and it was 6 boys. I'm trying to get more girls in, but I guess boys gravitate, and that's fine. That's really fun because girls are not just stereotypically, they are more of the readers, we've seen, whereas the boys enjoy the technology and the nonfiction. So 6 boys hanging out and learning about technology and making friendships they've never met before. That's really cool.
And powerful.
Yeah.
So kind of the last question before the speaking questions. I saw that one of your favorite tools was TAC, and I did some TAC at the Ohio conference that I went to in February, which is a great conference, by the way, OETC. But TAC, T-A-C-K, and I think there's an EduTAC, right? An educational platform. Yes. How do you use TAC, and why would other teachers use it?
Well, my Genius Hour is created on a TAC, so it's basically like a website creator. I usually create a TAC for when I present at places. Weebly is my main website, but I like TAC because people can comment on the bottom, and you could instantly also put a map in there, and you could put in RSVPs. And I also like the fact that kids can log in with their Google or with their Edmodo. So it's only one password and username and password that they have to remember. The easier, the better. And also TAC with kids, if they go in, they can get it. They can start using TAC without a username and password, and it'll stay up for 2 weeks. So I find that'll be really cool for the younger kids. So they can go in, start using TAC, and actually have a product and not have to. It's all the other, the username, password, the login. That's what takes the time, and that's what drags you down. So TAC is really cool for that. And I always, whenever I present to teachers, I always say, what can you use it for in your personal life? So I tell people, if you're having a Christmas party, make a TAC. You can do a whole RSVP. You could put up pictures. If you're going on vacation, just give everyone a link to your TAC, and instantly they'll see all your pictures and where you're going, almost like a blog. So it's kind of like a blog / website. It's a multi-use tool.
Yeah, I almost think of it, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, if it's not quite right. It's almost like Twitter, like a multimedia Twitter in a sense.
Yeah, see that, and then you can take that link. I love mashing things together. You work on that, you create that, then you take that link and tweet that out.
Nice. Yeah, it is a really nice fluent interchange between Twitter and TAC. So I definitely recommend it. It's something I need to dig into more. And I have done some, I need to do some copy with the Geek stuff with that. So
and it's easy. It's very easy.
It is. That
I like
it. All right. So are you ready for your 3 speed geek questions?
Yes, I am.
And so again, this is one of my favorite apps. It's called the Decide Now app. Here's just a little pinwheel. So we're going to start off with your first question, and again, it's just spinning around just like a game show.
What do I win? What do I win?
What was your first computer?
Wow, my first computer was an Apple. I bought it at the Wiz.
Apple IIe?
It was the one, I can't remember. It was the one that had the little flop. No, that was the ones that you use at school, a little floppy. But this one it was not the little floppy one. It was a separate one. But it was a demo model. And it was at the Wiz. I don't know if you remember the Wiz.
No, I don't.
It was an old store. So that was in 95. I started teaching, and I said, should I get this computer or not? My husband's like, my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, he's like, yeah, you need it. And so that was a demo model. I took it right off the shelf, went home with it, and hooked up AOL. And I was like, this is great. This is great. And how could I work without it? He's like, you're an English teacher. You need this. So that was the first one. It was an Apple. And then I went into educational technology, and I learned, hey, there's something called PowerPoint. So then I went to Dell. But then I came back to Mac. I go back and forth.
That's good. You have to, right?
Yes.
I want to say bilingual, but by computer or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I'm binary.
We need to come up with a name. Yeah, there we go.
Binary.
We need to come up with a good name. All right. So the next question was, what was your favorite video game, or just game in general? If you've got one.
Oh my God! As a kid, I played ColecoVision. Do you know what that is?
I do not know what that is.
Wow, I'm aging myself. Oh my gosh. I didn't have Whoa, I didn't have the Atari. My friend had the Atari. Waited some years, ColecoVision came out, and I liked it because it was in color. It was in color, and it was awesome. It was really good graphics. It was awesome. And I played the Smurfs. These are all really old games, but that's what we had at home. I didn't have Pong. I didn't have, those things. But yeah, my husband had some Nintendo thing. I don't know. It was an old one. But, when my sister got, when my sister's much younger than I am, she got the computers and technology. That's when it really exploded. But yeah, ColecoVision was the first video game system I had.
Are you a gamer now? Do you play World of Warcraft, Angry Birds, anything?
I play with my kids, so I don't have much time to play on my own, but I play with my kids, and they're addicted to the Lego Movie game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you
so
can't go wrong with Legos.
Yeah, with Resident Business and everything. So they.
I think I lost her. So I'm just going to wait for her to come back online. And in the meantime, her next question is going to be.
Okay, I lost you there for a second.
Yeah, that's okay. I lost you too, but we're good.
Okay.
Prattling away, and your last question is your first storage device. So, floppy disk, cassette, whatever.
Oh, my first storage device. I used to have. Well, I still have the thumb drives, but I had a iOmega. It was like a really hard disk that I used, but I didn't have the floppy. I have the little ones, and I still have them.
Yes, I do too.
I still have them, yeah. And actually,
how are you going to get them off? Anything off of it, though? Is the problem.
No, because you never know. But it's actually very funny because I have an antique roadshow display in my library, and I have a really, really, really old typewriter, the heavy metal ones. And I brought that, and I brought cameras at a thrift shop. So the kids love looking at that stuff. And I have the floppy disks on there, as well as cassettes and records.
Yeah, I've got.
So they love looking at that. But when I sit and taught, we use the big ones.
It's amazing the gap of how the gap between new technologies has shrunk. You know, it took forever for black and white TV to get to color TV, and now these things just happen so quickly. But
exactly, it's exponentially much quicker than ever before.
Yeah. Well, Kristina, thank you. It's really great having you. I hope to meet you at NYSCATE. I will be there, and
great.
Look forward to seeing you there. And you're doing great stuff. And as always, my conversations really inspire me and bring me new ideas. So, and you've lived up to that. So thank you so much, and keep up the good work, and let's keep in touch through Twitter and beyond.
Awesome. I'll see you, and I'll see you at NYSCATE.
All right. Great, Kristina. Thank you so much. Good night.